Good day, everyone. Welcome to the fifth e-kapihan of the Philippine Franchise Association, Road to Recovery. What's next for food, retail, and service? This is already our fifth in the series of e-kapihan brought to you by the Philippine Franchise Association. I'm Carl Balita, and I'll be your moderator this afternoon. And we would like to greet everyone. A good afternoon, wherever you are, good day. And God bless all of us. And as we begin this day, may I call on my partner, the president of the Philippine Franchise Association, Ms. Cheryl Quintana. Hi, Cheryl.
Good afternoon, Doc Carl, and it's a very exciting afternoon for all of us as we actually tackle all of the sectors of the franchising industry this afternoon on our road to recovery.
All right. We would like to make some administrative announcement first. If you have any question to any one of our panelists or our speaker, please use the Q&A button. If you have some social messages to be sent to us, please use the chat button. And we will try to answer all the questions within the day, within the session. But in case we'll be able not to do it, it will be answered properly through our secretariat. And partner, parang kailan lang when we started our first ikapihan during the second week of the quarantine, and now we're mid May. It's May 14, and we're excited to be with each other again. And how are you,
Yes,
partner? How are you coping? How are you doing?
we're all preparing already. Well, for us, Doc Carl, for Oraispa, we have been on a skeleton crew for the past 3 weeks already. Our manufacturing started operating already for the past 3 weeks. But all the stores are still closed, and looking forward to the opening of the stores and be ready for business in the coming weeks.
Right.
So we really need to know, how do we prepare ourselves, diba?
Yeah, I'm so excited today. I'm so excited because we have our idol. No, our idol who will be our major speaker this afternoon. And partner, would you like to lead us to a short prayer before anything else, please?
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord, Almighty God and Father. We thank you for gathering us in this online forum as we continue to navigate through the COVID-19 crisis towards our recovery, redirection, and resurgence. Our economy is gradually opening up, but we know that it won't be business as usual. Grant us the grace to be open to the changes that we are facing. Help us meet the challenges and seize the opportunities of the post-ECQ world. We also pray for your protection for the crisis and the recovery that is coming our way. We pray for resilience so that we will quickly rise from whatever difficulties we face. All this we pray, trusting in your benevolence and mercy. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, partner, for leading us in that prayer. What excites you today, partner? What excites you
What
today?
This is the first time that we're doing the discussions and covering all the sectors, the retail, the service, and the food sector partners. So we have our
Very
panelists
good.
from different sectors of different groups from the franchising industry. And very excited, of course, because our chairman emeritus is with us. We've been praying for his recovery. And we're very excited to learn from his learnings and the wisdom that he will be sharing this
Yeah.
afternoon. And
From the
also
father of
very
Philippine
excited,
franchising. Yeah.
yes, partner. And I'm also very excited because I know you will be sharing also the deepening relevance of the data and the engagement from our participants the past weeks, diba,
I
partner?
have to congratulate the PFA partner, and the reason I'm congratulating you on this fifth episode of our Ikapihan is because we have looked into the data that when we started, partner, would you like to present this to us? The first Kapihan, okay, this happened on March 25, and look at that. Look at our number of registrants.
Correct. And very nostalgic, no? Time really flies because when we
Yeah.
started thinking about this and conceptualizing the PFA e-copyhan, our situations was entirely different, and our mood probably as we just entered the ECQ at the time, no? Second week of the ECQ.
Yeah.
We already had over 609 to be exact na registered
Mm.
participants partner, and
Mm.
on the telecast we had 896. Eh di ba partner
Yeah.
that time we were just preparing for 500, ano?
Yeah.
So
I even
exact
had to upgrade our subscription for Zoom because then we only had 500 capacity. So this was a
kaya
good
nga.
start, partner. Very good start. Mm.
Ang saya-saya
Then the
natin
second,
noon. Yes. And
yeah, saya na natin, no? Then the second, look at this. Look
correct,
at the second.
correct. Yes. And we were very grateful because Secretary Ramon Lopez of the Department of Trade and Industry graced us his presence to reach out to our attendees, our participants, as well as a group of panelists, no, that we all learned from in coping. So we
Mhm.
already almost doubled our participation. At the time, we have in your screen
Mhm.
1,049 viewers at the time, the actual participants. And then, partner, since the start, we've been telecasting this live via Philippine Franchise Association's page in Facebook. And as you can see in the screen, the number of people reach
Yeah.
over 25,000 partner. On the third
Okay. And look at,
e-copy, as yes,
yeah, the
and
third. The third.
correct. Kasi partner, before we had this 1 week after, no, the first. But
Mhm.
then on the
Mhm.
third e-copyhan, ayan partner, we already tripled from the first time that we did this on
Mhm.
April 15. We had 1,800 registrants, and yan, makikita naman ninyo ang FB live views natin, and the total people reach over 40,000
Okay.
partner.
And the last
Ayan. And
last
the last
episode was,
one,
wow. Mhm.
ang maganda nito partner kasi, on our third e-copyhan, we were sharing already the tools on how to be resilient. So on the third e-copyhan, we've been already preparing our entrepreneurs, our attendees, what are the tools that you can use, no, to prepare yourselves to be resilient. So with or without COVID, actually partner, that is applicable. On the fourth e-copyhan, we had over 5,000 registered participants partner. Lumobo
Mhm.
lalo yung numbers natin, and almost 30,000 people reached via Facebook Live. That's why it's very helpful partner for those who are inside our Zoom now. Yung mga friends
Mhm.
nila, sinabi mo nga kanina, they can go to FB Live kung hindi sila nakapasok dito sa ating Zoom. So partner,
All right.
I know
And
you have
now,
takeaways for our participants.
now we
Please,
look at this
take it
partner.
away.
We have 5,000 registrants today, and we're streaming
Yes.
live in Facebook, and I'm sure umuusok na naman ng Facebook channel ng Philippine Franchise Association. And just to show you some graph so that we'll be visual about it, I have to congratulate the Philippine Franchise Association for having very meaningful copyhans, and we promise that should we have more of this, or should this even be part of the tradition, we will continue to give you what you actually need and what you actually want. So give us your feedback as to what you want to hear from us in the future. Now, partner, I created this because looking back, all we wanted in the first part was to help the businessmen navigate through the COVID-19 disruptions. And then we focus on the small, medium, and micro, small, and medium enterprises. Initially, our passion was to help them in logistics and people management, inventory and process management. But of course, in the heart of franchising is the franchisor support. Until, of course, we deepen the purpose by giving the purpose above cash flow. And look at this. After that, we talked about the now, the then, and the beyond. Okay, so this came into the picture. And this is why we navigated really, the MSME navigated really through time and space amidst the COVID-19 disruption. And look what happened after that. We became resilient enterprises. That's what we wanted, embracing the new normal. And today we'll talk about recovery. And look at how beautiful the framework has become for all of us, partner. Recovery is now what we will be talking about, because at the end of the day, resilience should enable us to recover within embracing the new normal. All right, and I'm so excited about hearing from our first speaker, partner. Please do the honor of introducing our speaker.
Yes, partner. We're also very excited to see him back, of course, even online lang. To kick off today's program, I am honored to introduce our keynote speaker who was instrumental in the growth and advancement of the Philippine franchising sector and continues to be a prime mover in making the Philippines a leading player in global franchising. He is the founding president and chairman emeritus of the Philippine Franchise Association and is a respected leader in global franchising. A former undersecretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, he has also held key positions in various organizations where he dedicated his time towards building and strengthening industries such as retailing, franchising, and the tourism industry. He is the Director for Tourism, Retailing, and Franchising of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This afternoon, our keynote speaker will share his insights and experience through his presentation on a COVID-10 survivor's vision of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give our warmest welcome to the father of Philippine franchising, Dr. Sammy Lim. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, everyone. It's good to finally see you, even if just on video. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very
Yes.
well.
Okay.
Very well.
Well, I'm truly happy to finally participate in this highly successful PFA Ikapihan series. And thank you and congratulations to Ikapihan team. You're doing a great job. I know some of you tuned in because you're more interested in what I have to say about COVID than the future of franchising. So let me get to COVID right away. I recently recovered from COVID-19, and by God's grace and the mercy, I was given another chance to live and to continue to be of service. It has been a long and difficult 60 days journey, and as I recount my story, I couldn't help but relate it to relate franchising to my experience, and it can be a parallel story of how the industry's roadmap to recovery. There is an overflow of information as to how to avoid COVID to be managed in terms of protocol, procedures, and etc. And let me share with you three of the more important things that helped me through my ordeal. Number one, the prayers and words of encouragement from all my friends and relatives. Number two, my having rediscovered God or Jesus during the Holy Week when I was confined in the hospital. So my faith in God is that He saves and He heals. Number three, I had complete confidence in the hospital and my medical team, believing that they are God's instrument for His will to be done. We in the franchise industry are resilient. The very essence of being a franchisor is perfecting a system that we can pass on to franchisees. We are the experts in overcoming problems, but we have not gone through anything like this pandemic. At the end of the day, it will be the flame and faith inside each one of us that will drive us towards recovery. During these times, when franchises are weak or sick, PFA, in effect, is the hospital. The PFA board, the members, and the partners compose the medical team. Let us have confidence in each other. No one can claim to be an expert on how franchises can recover from COVID. But if we put our heads together and learn from each other's experience, share ideas and expertise, I believe that the industry will not just recover, but will reach even greater heights post-COVID. I talk about faith. Now, let's talk about what I did. Although faith is the core, it will not yield result if you don't pair it with the three A's, which I will now discuss. The three A's are assess and accept, act as soon as possible, and accelerate aggressively. Let us start with assess. Although I was feeling relatively well, I thought, I still went to the hospital to get a swab test just to be sure. And there they found that a lot more information about me. That number one, I was definitely a senior at 70s, and I was coughing a little bit, have stage 1 hypertension and diabetes. And so they subjected me to further tests, medical tests. They found out that I had pneumonia, so I had to be confined in the hospital. In that scenario, I was able to get an objective assessment by a third party of my health. That is also my recommendation to you. Get help from a third party, preferably a certified franchise executive who can give you professional, objective assessment of your company's health. Next, assess the viability of every franchisees in your network. Talk to them, have a serious meeting with them, and think of ways of how to keep the whole franchise network afloat. Now, as human resource is the most important asset of any company, you should also determine which employees are capable and willing to continue and which employees you might have to let go, but definitely with compassion and fairness. Lastly, assess the foundation of your franchise system. Can your existing franchise program sustain you to recover and go beyond the COVID pandemic? After the assessment comes acceptance. I could not believe I had COVID, in spite of I'm being extra careful and taking all measures possible to avoid it. But I had to accept the findings. You also have to accept the reality that of what COVID did, what COVID is doing, and what COVID will be doing to our business for the next couple of years. You have accept your company's, you have to accept your company's financial limitations and its ability to meet all its financial obligations, such as rental, payroll, utilities, maintenance, warehousing, delivery, and other expenses. Next is to act. Act as soon as possible. In COVID's time is always of the essence. I am truly blessed not to be one of those who lost their lives just because of delays in confinement and administration of medicine, etc. You should act as soon as possible to stop the bleeding, cut unnecessary operating expenses at this time, consider seriously closing underperforming stores that could not even meet the operating expense. Negotiate aggressively with your landlord for a win-win agreement and immediately open stores that are profitable or at least making enough to break even. Implement strict health and sanitation practices to keep both your employees and your customers safe. Train your organization to move more aggressively towards selling through multi-channels, especially on the digital platform, and secure your payment system. Work on your less customer contact transactions program or cycles. Secure financing through loans. or increase your investment, or invite a partner to invest with you. Consider also just inviting an independent directors into your board to give you a third perspective. Now, the last A is accelerate aggressively. I was forced to transition fast into living a healthier lifestyle. So I will fully recover. I now eat more vegetable, fruits, seafood, and I exercise definitely a lot more. Whereas in the past, my only exercise was walking from the house to the car and from the car to the office or to a meeting place. After the Great Depression in 1929 and the Asian financial crisis in 1997, a lesson we should learn is that franchising was one of the first sector that recovered the fast and prospered. My vision of 2021 to 2025 is that it will be the golden years of franchising for three reasons. We now have the pool of potential franchisee. A potential franchisee is someone who has the money to invest, the time to manage the business, and the network of potential customers. We now have hundreds of thousands of employees who will be retiring or be separated with some sum of money. Reliable SMEs, there will be reliable SMEs that have the close shop because of the new market environment. They have all the three qualifications plus the experience of running a business already. But the new phenomenon, there are now thousands of housewives in the neighborhood who have been buying and selling products needed during the lockdown. They will have the three qualifications plus the business experience and the intimate connections in the community that they serve. Number two, success of retail is highly dependent on location, which makes rental one of the biggest expense of a retail store. Since there will be many vacant spaces, this gives a retailer the perfect opportunity to expand, not only in the Philippines, but also worldwide. For that, I must commend Joe Mag of Potato Corner in venturing into the US during the economic downturn in the US. At the same time, we should credit Max as the first Filipino restaurant that ventured into the mainstream market in the US. Number three, new market opportunities will emerge as new communities will be created as people now will migrate to safer environment and less densely populated areas. Opportunities now. Let's talk about opportunities. In the food sector, it will include the rise of delivery services, takeout, drive-through, along with home-cooked meals. The emergence of restaurants supplying lunch boxes to offices during lunchtime and ready-to-eat meals for condominium for their dinners. There will be a rise of dark or so-called cloud kitchen located in less expensive area but in densely populated area. Opportunities in the retail sectors include stores selling health products or fitness equipment to build consumers' immune system. Since the vaccine will not be around for some time, shops selling personal protective gears will also emerge. Stores promoting hobbies, arts, crafts, board games, and gardening will also start to prosper. Stores selling inexpensive indulgence like chocolate, makeup, inexpensive makeup, beer, other beverages, and probably even junk food. And stores selling beauty products for clients to regain their pre-COVID beauty. But in the next couple of years, one of the fastest selling item, interesting to note, will be the eye makeup, because with everybody being covered with masks, the only thing people can see are the eyes. Opportunities in the service sectors include home schooling. Like Kumon, homeschooling is starting to emerge, and it is a new phenomenon. Services that ride on the reputation of the iconic Filipino tender loving care, such as nursing homes, retirement homes, caregivers, and elderly care. Clinics for family and marriage counseling and for mental health. Micro and small business financing franchises will also be booming. Professional cleaning services for commercial and residential establishments, and even crematorium and columbarium will increase. So there, like COVID, some business will survive, some will not. But let us keep the faith, because there are always opportunities in the midst of adversities. PFA will always be here to serve and save. We will continue to come up with plans and programs that will accelerate recovery and usher in the golden age of franchising in the next 5 years. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lim. Yeah, and thank you
Welcome.
for all those opportunities you enumerated to us. And it's making us think through any one of those could be our bounce back, as a matter of fact. And by the way, partner, are you still there? Yeah, you're
Yes,
there.
of course. Thank you, Dr. Sammy Lim, for your words of wisdom and assurances about the franchising sector. And it is
Partner,
true, partner, kasi maraming inquiries talaga ngayon eh.
dami. Mm-mm.
Where
Partner,
to invest? Where to invest?
I'd like to greet you Happy Mother's Day. Kasi it was Mother's Day, no?
Thank you.
Yeah, and did you know that in 1980, it was Mr. Sammy Lim who actually shifted the schedule to be the second Sunday of May. And thank you, Mr. Sammy Lim, for making that day special for all the mothers. And all the mothers participating in this conference may still deserve the Happy Mother's Day greetings today. And he revolutionized appliance marketing at the age of 25. And of course, without mentioning that Mr. Lim is also an advocate of tourism. And it's from him that I heard about the 5 A's of tourism. And we'll be opening the floor later on for some questions for Mr. Lim. Please keep them coming at the Q&A button in our screen. And some of our panelists are already answering the questions directed to them. All right. So our takeaway, partners.
Thank you.
Partner, our takeaway. Madami na agad, no?
Yes, and of course, alam ko yung mga participants natin ngayon talagang take down ng notes, full pack of learnings and takeaways what Dr. Sammy Lim gave a little earlier. Partner, before I go on to our panelists, which is also a very exciting set, no? If you can notice, our set of panelists as well as our reactor are all from Filipino homegrown brands, partner, that has that has been global brands already. And if we can greet also, a lot are listening now. We have participants from Quezon Province, Cebu, Iligan, Antique, Pangasinan, and Bataan, Bukidnon, Cadiz City, and Batangas. Also, partner, we have viewers from inside Zoom lang to, ha, wala pa yung FB. We have our friends from Thailand, Pakistan, and New York, partner. So let's go on to our set of panelists. Partner, our first.
Our first, nako, gusto ko itong marinig kasi kumusta kaya the house that fried chicken built and the house that builds loved brands, no? Kumustahin natin sila. And of course, kumusta kaya yung corners being occupied by the potatoes? And of course, the phoenix. You know, the phoenix, di ba, we know the phoenix is a bird that when you burn it, it will give rise to a more powerful creature. And of course,
Yes,
nandiyan ang isang anak na natuto sa kanyang tatay na dapat walang tulugan. Alright? And
tama, partner.
kumusta kaya ang mga bibingka at ang mga lava? Kumusta kaya siya? So we're so excited. Go ahead, partner. Let's introduce our first speaker.
Yes,
First
moving
panelist.
on. Yeah, correct, partner. Very exciting set talaga. And we're very grateful. This is also the first time, partner, that we have more than three, no? Lagi lang tayong three panelists. We have five now, full pack. So get ready to take down notes. Moving on, we are honored to have with us today the five great panelists to share their unique insights and experiences on the session topic, which is Road to Recovery, What's Next for Food, Retail, and Service. This is really a rare and great opportunity for all of us to bring them all together in one session. Let's start the ball rolling. Allow me to introduce our first panelist, is the CEO and founder of the Food Asia Group with interest in franchising and restaurant operations, as well as manufacturing, logistics, retail, real estate, and e-commerce. Food Asia is a multi-awarded company that carries the brands of Bibingkinitan, Lava Cheese Tarts, Barbecue Shack, Papas, and Wakwich, with a network of 400 multi-brand stores. Our panelist is a multi-awarded entrepreneur with a degree in electronics engineering from the LaSalle University, Manila. He is the immediate past president and currently my chairman in the Philippine Franchise Association. He is also our director for digitalization of PFA, where he oversees the shifting of the association to the fourth industrial revolution. Let us please welcome Mr. Richard Sanz, certified franchise executive and chairman of Philippine Franchise Association. Good afternoon, Rich.
Hi, She, Dr. Carl.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. It's really great to see you all. I haven't joined the Kapihan for the last episode, but now I'm back. And I heard Dr. Director Anthony of DTI is here. So good afternoon. Of course, happy to see Dr. Sammy back and healthy. And of course, to my co-panelists, hello and good afternoon. So basically, I wanted to start just my 5 minutes by saying something on the general point of view of food. So basically, in F&B, we are seeing the businesses to shift focus heavily towards e-commerce, and the fastest adopters like the fast food chains will be downsizing seating areas to have bigger operating kitchen and to serve delivery, e-commerce, and pick up. For example, a bigger casual restaurant will now scale down their space, and retail space reduced by as much as 50% from its original size pre-COVID. Also, some trends that we see for landlords, we will be seeing more of a partnership between the landlord and the food retailers, especially this time. Kailangan talagang magtulungan. We are seeing profit sharing instead of fixed rent, percentage of rent which are reduced. And of course, we will be seeing more semi-indoor and outdoor spaces because especially when the ECQ is lifted, most of the customers would like to feel safe or would like to feel safer in an outdoor area as opposed to a cramped and closed air-conditioned area. And we will also be seeing a lot of hygiene and cleanliness focus on the design. So before, when we design our stores, it's usually aesthetics, how it looks, functionality. Now there will be a greater focus on hygiene and cleanliness. On the merchant side, on the F&B side, we are seeing shorter lease term, of course, smaller space requirements, and a lot of e-commerce adoption of e-commerce. On the consumer side, the customers, we will see a lot more of increased online presence, which I will be discussing later. We will be also seeing what they call the lazy economy, wherein more people will want to spend more time at home. Therefore, you'll be buying more comfortable furniture, more exercise equipment, better appliances. Because instead of being out, they will just spend more time at home. And of course, with this, there will be a demand for premium services and products at home as well. So can you flash my presentation, please? A very short presentation, just 3 slides.
There.
Okay. So going to the specifics, I would like to discuss, of course, I would like to share my thoughts specific to the kiosk sector. So what will be the new normal for kiosks? Okay, so of course, for kiosks we have a smaller footprint compared to the restaurants, but despite because of having a smaller footprint, there is this you have this ability to have more stores. You have hundreds of small stores, so which can also be a challenge in operating, especially in a time like COVID. So of course, you will see our staff in protective gear. So for our brands, specifically for Bibingkinitan, during this time of ECQ lockdown, we have 5% of our stores open, mostly those that are located in supermarkets. So we provide them the necessary gear and the sanitation materials to keep them safe. And of course, as a result of this, there will be significantly less foot traffic as a result of the COVID. And when you have less foot traffic, because the nature of kiosk businesses mostly are impulse driven, so if your foot traffic is decreased, your transactions may also decrease. This is a natural reaction to kiosks. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So what we can also see in the next after the lockdown is lifted, there will be a reevaluation of menu for items that travel and heat up well, so that they look the same and taste the same when you dine in. So of course, these are products that are baked items that you can reheat. These are food items that you can reheat as well. Some fried items might not be, it doesn't heat up well, or unless you refry it. So a re-evaluation of the menu is necessary so that you can adapt to this time. Of course, efficiency in manpower, we're gonna see shortened work hours, and you'd want to, as a result of the lower sales, you would want to decrease or be efficient in your manpower. We will also be seeing a lot of contactless dining and contactless transaction. What does this mean? It means that instead of handling the food, there could be an area for dispatching. There could be an area where you can pick up your food, so that there is minimal contact between the server and the customer. Next slide, please. Of course, I think one very important thing to note is the importance of pivoting early. So for me personally, I took the time in lockdown to pivot, and I felt that I had to try something new, something different, for to be able to at least come out of this lockdown with something new to offer. So in the case of Food Asia, we started our e-commerce even pre-COVID times, and even a year before, 2 years before this happened, we already had e-commerce in our website, and all our franchisees order through e-commerce. They order online, they pay online as well. So the phase two of that was for consumers, and we didn't have any plan yet early this year. But because of COVID, because of the lockdown, we were forced to expedite our e-commerce. So within maybe less than 2 weeks, we will be launching our platform for online transactions, wherein payment and delivery is integrated into that. So that is one thing that we are doing, and of course, our kiosk Philippines will serve as our pickup points. Some other examples of pivoting some companies. Of course, there are some chef-driven restaurants that made home kits. Of course, at this time, uh, who will want to go to a high-end restaurant, very high-end restaurant? So some of the chefs, like Hapag, Chef Kevin of Hapag, they made home kits wherein your veggies are in vacuum packs, and you heat it, and there are instructions on how to um, assemble it again. Of course, there's another really good example. Carlitos Catering is a catering company, but when COVID happened, of course, the clients that for events, parties, corporate events, all ceased. Nawala lahat. So basically what Carlitos did is to transform their kitchen into a cloud kitchen, and they offered set meals. And it's really amazing how they were able to pivot very early in this crisis. So those are examples of pivot. The next and last is, there is no choice for everyone, I think, for everyone to be relevant, but to embrace and adapt digitalization. I've been personally advocating digitalization in PFA to go cashless, because this is the only way to move forward. And if I may share, because I've been going back and forth to China for the last 6 months, and seeing how they do their cashless transactions in China is amazing. Everyone uses WeChat. Everyone has WeChat. So even the vendors, the street vendors, the food markets, even the beggars, they will flash you their QR code, and you can just use your QR code anytime. It's linked to the bank, so it's also linked to the credit card. So it's so easy. No one really uses cash, and I'm hoping that this COVID situation would actually move everyone to adopt cashless. Of course, we will see a lot of kiosks, food and F&B establishments to consider and try online ordering and delivery platforms like Grab Food Panda. Although the percentage is high, it might evolve in the future. And of course, when you have online ordering and delivery platforms, the beauty of being in the kiosk is you can use your kiosk as pickup points. Next slide, please. So in ending, I would just like to show a picture of this mountain goat. Why this? You might be wondering why I'm showing a picture of a goat at the side of the mountain. So you will notice that it climbs this mountain at a very steep angle every single day, because they get their nourishment, they get their food there. I think in this case, they're licking the salt at the side of the mountain. And if you will notice, a single misstep, a single madulas lang yan, it will cost them their lives. They're dead if they slip. I think at this time, when ECQ is lifted out, it will be the same thing for us. It will, when we go out, we have to be extra careful because we have to live our life. We have to do our business. We cannot just stay home forever. So, but life goes on for this goat. It goes on for us, all of us. It also goes on, and with uh, each other's help, with PFA's help, I think we are poised to overcome this challenge. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Rich. Now we're very happy with your visits to China for the past year. We have a lot of takeaways from your presentation. Partner, we have a lot of best practices, no, and new terms for our new normal. Pivot, cloud kitchens, digitalization, going cashless. And partner, binanggit niya yung lazy economy, which is not actually lazy for us. We've been complaining that we're busier now, more efficient, no traffic time, partner.
I want to call it isolation economy. Yeah, I call it by two terms: isolation economy, and the other one is paranoid economy. You know, we're so paranoid now when we go out, when you go to a restaurant, we turn paranoid. So I think we have to address that as business people. The isolation economy, dati inclusive inclusive economy, ngayon isolation, and the paranoid economy. And thank you, Rich, for highlighting to pivot early and to embrace or adopt digitalization. Thank you for those very important insights. Thank you. And partner, kumusta na kaya the house that fried chicken built? Kumusta na kaya siya?
Yes.
Yeah.
At alam mo, isa ko sa mga favorite big brothers in the industry, partner.
Alam mo, gusto ko sa kanya itanong.
Receive a lot of mentoring.
Partner, gusto kong itanong, which of the following are doing well? Max's, the Pancake House, Krispy Kreme, Jamba Juice, Yellow Cub, Teriyaki, or Densios? I'll be very curious to find out which of these brands are doing so well. Partner, we can't wait to hear the introduction of our next speaker, please.
Yes, and learn also on his pivot strategies. Moving on to our second panelist, we are very fortunate to have with us the President and CEO of Max's Group Incorporated, the largest casual dining restaurant company in the Philippines. Its company portfolio consists of homegrown and international brands such as Max's Restaurant, Pancake House, Yellow Cub Pizza, Teriyaki Boy, Densios, Cabecera Sizzling Steak, my favorite Krispy Kreme, Jamba Juice, and Maple. To date, the company has a total of 690 stores in the Philippines and over 70 international stores across these brands in various cities in North America, the Middle East, and Asia. Under his leadership, he breathed new life into Max's Restaurant, the group's flagship brand, when it opened its doors to franchising in 1998, paving the way for the national and international expansions of the said brand. Our panelist was a two-termer president and chairman of the Philippine Franchise Association. He is currently the vice chairman and director for Filipino Global Brands, where he oversees programs that help bring Philippine franchise brands to overseas markets. He is the honorary consul of the Republic of Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you are all excited. Get your ball pens ready. Now let's hear it from Mr. Robert Trota. Good afternoon, Robert.
Good afternoon, Che. Good afternoon, Carl, and to the other panelists. And of course, welcome back, Sammy. We were praying for you for your recovery, and definitely having you on this EKPN is really important to us, as you have been our mentor ever since. So I don't have any presentation. I'll just talk to you a little bit about maybe a job to be done in the road to recovery for the Max's Group. When the COVID and the lockdown were announced, those are things we thought that would just be a simple bump in the road, 1 month closure, back to normal, just start winding down our stores, and continue. Lo and behold, it became more than what we expected, and I think it proved, or it made everyone do things they were not really ready to do or equipped to do. But because of a crisis, you bring out the best in everybody. So as we reflected on what needed to be done, and stores started to close, we had to obviously take care of our people, preserve our inventory, move things around, and go into a shutdown mode, which is not normal because you usually celebrate openings and not really closing. So all our people went into a task that we were not meaning trained or equipped to do all simultaneously. But with a great team of Max's group, they were able to do it. And as we reflected on what needed to be done, we also had to react. And I think, the question we had was, what's going to happen to our employees when all our stores are closed? So those things had to be taken care of because these are people that have been with us for a very long time. Maxis has been here for 75 years. And of course, safety for everybody. But, reacting, stores closing, we had to pause and reflect again. And during that reflection and pause, that 1 week pause that we had where almost all our stores were closed, we couldn't just sit back and do nothing. We had to, it's impossible for us to just watch. And, within 24 hours, we said there was such a clamor to help the frontliners. There was such a clamor to give them food, and who best to do it? We are a food company. We can deliver food fast and safe. And we created Pledge a Plate. Wouldn't you believe we created that whole concept in 24 hours? We executed a mobile app platform. We had the market basket in place, commissary in place. We had no employees, actually. They're all sent home because all the stores are closed and wrapped. But then we asked volunteers to come in. And so we launched it. And it was very successful, very simple. But the thing is, it served 55,000 meals. But what makes it more happy is to see that, if you remove, even though we're a private company, there were bureaucracies, red tape. There were things that you could have done. You had policies, you had this. But under a crisis, that goes all away and things need to get done. So how you respond is critical to this whole crisis. Agility, it's not wait until next week. It's today. It has to be done tomorrow. Everything that we did had urgency in it. And I'm amazed with the people that did it for me, my team. I couldn't believe they could do all of this. And to think before it took us all these months and meetings on Google Hangouts. Oh my God, I love that app. I don't need my office anymore. I need to cut my costs. So with all of this happening, we created that. So now the next step was to respond. So what? We've got closing stores that have been closing down, 690 as you mentioned, getting less and less and less. Areas starting to close. Even malls in the provinces had to be shut down. So again, going through all this closure. But there was still an opportunity. And we were allowed, being the food sector, for takeout and delivery. So 50% of our store network was outside the malls. So that gave us a little bit of an edge because we could operate these stores. And having multi-brands gave us also that other edge because there are different brands or different likes. The customers have different likes, right? So from the Max's Chicken to the Yellow Cab Pizza to the Krispy Kreme donuts to Pancake House and so on. So having all of these helped us actually recover maybe a little bit sooner than later because we were able now to ramp up our store count. As we started with maybe only 5 stores starting March 16 to 26, maybe some of our 5 major flagship stores were open. As of today, we have 300 stores open, serving takeout and delivery. Now, what happens when you lose your biggest income earner which is dining, which represented 70% of our business? We had to now divert our resources into something we knew what to do, but maybe we're not that focused, which is the delivery and the takeout. Yes, we have Yellow Cab, which is primarily a delivery brand. But again, if you look at Krispy Kreme, if you look at Max, those are only small parts of doing business. But today, I'm happy to say that I may not have recovered 70% of my dining, but I definitely doubled and am about to triple what I do in delivery and takeout. So I rechanneled everything into that platform, whether it's the website, my call center, delivery riders, operations people, everybody's just focused. People that work from home became my agents, selling their stuff. So how do you make up more of my dining sales that I lost? We created ready-to-cook meals, also on the web with the food. Then we had ready-to-eat also. Different market, different platform. We introduced Market Day, which we send our truck to different villages, and then you pre-order, again cashless, so that point of contact would be minimized. And we had that every week, and we're rolling out across all the different communities, as we say. So how do you get back what you lost? So you have to create new channels that would bring it back. It's not going to be 100%, that's for sure. And dining is not going to come back overnight. Dining will take time. You'll have to gain people after all of this anxiety and fear, they're now going to go back and dine in. That's going to take a little bit of time. But never mind. I still have the stores that can serve takeout and delivery. And since I have my own fleet, I think I can do a good job at it. Plus, I also embraced the different aggregators like Grab, Food Panda, even Lala Food, and others. So that's going to be our focus as a team. And that should be our recover to the new normal. But if you look at it, which Sammy mentioned earlier, it's going to be the new normal, and we're not going to be the same today as prior to pre-COVID. You're not going to get your sales back overnight. So you need to work on what sales you're going to achieve to create a store operating income that will be worthwhile. And again, as Sammy mentioned earlier, if your stores are not making money, there's nothing to wait for. You close it down, and you only work on stores that have operating income. Then your next problem would be you've got a system, or you've got an organization capable of running 700 or 760 stores internationally, including the international. All of a sudden, we might end up with what? Maybe 500 stores? I don't know the number yet. But as we get more focused on what we do, so instead of you step back twice to be able to recover faster. And you can have more efficient stores, higher sales per area. And again, having an advantage of more stores outside the mall has helped us greatly. So when we start opening the stores inside the mall, we'll see how we can address the business by operating only on takeout and delivery. Maybe a slow pace on dining, but it will be really a challenge for us. Plus, we have very big stores in the malls. So again, something for us to assess, but take care of your cash, eliminated unwanted expenses. You really have to work bare bones to survive this. And as Jack Ma said, surviving alone is profit today. So I hope I'll be happy to answer all your questions later. But again, you came from one store before, and you can operate at a low level. You just have to step back a little bit, focus, be very agile. And something we've learned lately is don't hesitate. Please try what you can, but if you fail fast. Okay? Don't keep trying, and if it fail fast, and try again. Because that's the only way you're going to succeed in a market as tough as this. So thank you, and I look forward to the questions a bit later.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Yes, very cool words, no, partner?
Yeah.
Very assuring and fresh for us this afternoon. We already have a lot of takeaways. And partner, ang maganda doon sa sinabi ni Mr. Trota, ni Robert, is that about the brand equity, no? It's not just about delivering food that we have now from our communities, but the brand equity, deliver fast and safe.
Yeah.
And we also have cost cutting, cash is king. And maybe partner later we can ask him how to negotiate properly with your landlords, with all the stores that he has.
And
So partner,
yeah,
yeah,
let me just highlight the 7 R's that I noted from
okay.
his talk. Now, first is react. That's react for safety. That's what he said. Then later on, he paused, and that's reflect. Then he responded, and the response has something to do with agility and urgency. That's why he recovery is the next. Then he focused on rechannel. He mentioned about rechannel, and the last is running. I noted that those words. So react, reflect, respond, recover, rechannel, then keep it running. But I love what he said about should you fail, fail fast. All right, partners.
Fail fast.
Partner, let's go. Let's go
Yes.
to
Alam mo,
the
kaya
next.
kita favorite, partner, kaya kita favorite, napakabilis mong gumawa ng framework for all our participants. They're just taking notes pa lang, and you already provided how they can, segment nila yung mga notes nila. So let's move on, partner,
All right.
to our third panelist. On to the third panelist, he is the chairman emeritus of the Potato Corner Group. As a big brother in business, partner, we learn a lot from being a survivor. The first and original flavored fries of the world. Today, Potato Corner has more than 1,300 branches worldwide. Aside from the Potato Corner brand, our panelist also has more than 100 stores of other kiosk brands nationwide. This makes him the king of kiosk. Known as the partner ng bayan, he helps out entrepreneurs who have limited financial and managing capabilities to innovate and grow, but has the grit to succeed. This is his way of giving back and paying forward. He completed his master's degree in entrepreneurship from the Asian Institute of Management. He was recognized as 2019 Asian Institute of Management AAA awardee. That is the highest alumni achievement award of AIM. He is an entrepreneur in residence at AIM and a faculty at Asian Center for Entrepreneurship and Ateneo Graduate School. Our panelist was recognized as 2016 Asian CEO awardee. He also took extra studies at Harvard Business School. I am grateful that we work together at the Philippine Franchise Association Board of Trustees. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us all welcome Mr. Jose Magsaysay Jr. Good afternoon, Jomag.
Good afternoon, Cheryl. Good afternoon, Carl. Good afternoon, distinguished panelists and moderator. Good afternoon, everybody. Wow, I couldn't believe that you probably described somebody else, but thank you, Cheryl. We had about 1,400 stores before the lockdown. No? After the lockdown, almost zero. The only outlets open were international. That's how important diversifying internationally is. So we still have stores in Indonesia open. We still have stores in Thailand open. So amazing. Our partners are amazing. Today, we have already reopened 140 stores in malls. And something special also happened. Today, we now have 380 Special Forces Army nationwide. These are our franchisees, our employees, our friends. Anybody who wants to sell Potato Corner, will deputize you. You become our heroes. And after this crisis, we will give you our medals of honors, because you're going to save us. We're going to save us together. Okay, that's how important partners are for us. At Potato Corner, our values are leadership, being a trailblazer, and being entrepreneurial. We cannot have these values. We cannot have these values without what Dr. Professor Ed Morato, our director also in the board, refers to, which is having a high audacity quotient. Yes, not adversity quotient, but high audacity quotient. Audacity meaning boldness or daring. especially with confident and arrogant disregard for personal safety, disregard for conventional thought, and disregard for restrictions. That's exactly what Potato Corner is all about. Sammy Lim was right. We opened in the United States during during the global financial crisis, and we keep on doing this. We keep on doing things even if we're not prepared to do. We take risks, but we take manageable risks all the time. This crisis, although like many of us have been hard hit, you know, our targets for our targets for 2020 are all gone. We're even lucky if you can make it close to 2019, but it doesn't stop us from targeting 2019 targets. Our target in Potato Corner Group is really to see if we can hit 2019 targets. We hope to achieve that. We want to be also always in the forefront of whatever we're doing. This is part of being audacious, you know, being high in AQ. This crisis will remind us again to make sure that our balance sheet is bulletproof. And after making it bulletproof, we will have to be changed. We have to change our mindset again. Like for example, I was telling our board and our team, Potato Corner in the last 10 years or the last 15 years has been in times of plenty. Meaning times of plenty, there were so many people who were wanting to franchise Potato Corner. There were so many people who said, we give you sites, we give you this, can I franchise? So the mindset of the Potato Corner team during those times of plenty was screening opportunities, saying no, saying yes, choosing which partner to take this site, etc., etc. Now during this crisis, we should be reminded, like what Robert a while ago said, we came from startups. And what did we do during our startup? We were aggressive in looking for money, for profits, for partners, for opportunities. So we're going to change our mindset now from times of plenty to times of want. So we're changing the way we think about things. Then we will act again aggressively this time. This again will be consistent with our values, which is really leadership. Okay, and for Potato Corner, no, we've never played by the rules. Not always. There are times when we skirt in and out of laws, and that's part of being audacious. And then I'd like to talk about pivoting also. A lot of people talk about pivoting now. I just want everybody to know how, like, to be careful about pivoting. Like in basketball, one foot has to stay where it is, and the other foot keeps on going wherever. So that means when you pivot, you make sure you pivot, putting one foot in the ground where it is, so that you stay in your DNA, you stay at your core. Don't get out from your core. Now, it will be dangerous if you pivot and use both feet. That means you're out of your core already, and that will be financially and very dangerous overall. The habits that work for our company are, you know, always working hard, not complaining, asking for help. Like for example, after the Asian financial crisis, in 1997, Potato Corner had 120 stores. By the end of 2001, we were left with 40 stores. Thanks to a franchisee in Cebu who kept their stores open no matter what. So 2001, we restarted Potato Corner. And what did we do? We asked for help. We reorganized our board. We asked 2 independent directors to come in, and then a 3rd board of advisor. That helped take care of our strategic direction and help us see where, and give us enough feedback. Today, during this crisis, we've reorganized the board again. We have 2 new independent directors, and we have another board advisor. So it's very important for us. It's very important for everybody to organize your board. To me, the malls will continue to be the economic drivers of this country. I think we will normalize sooner than what everybody says, because to me, the mass market is very resilient. In fact, I was being asked a question, what happens to my business? What can we do? I was saying, did you explore shifting your market to mass market, middle C and below? Because this market, guys, they're not only resilient, they were born during a crisis, financial crisis. They are resilient to any crisis because they live throughout crisis in their lives all the time. You know? So you look at other places where there's GCQ already. Parang palengke, they're everywhere. They're not thinking about social distancing. Some are not wearing masks. They don't care because they're very resilient. They're very strong. Our mass market will drive this economy. Will drive the markets very well. So I'm counting on mass market. I mean, of course, they will want their safety, but they're very resilient and they will flood the malls again and then make our businesses work very well. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Well, very well said. Thank you very much, Joe Mag. Grabe yun.
Yes.
Grabe yun. Alam mo,
Digital applause,
digital applause tayo
partner.
doon. Alam mo, may nabasa ko about him. Sabi niya, if you want a brand to stick, market to kids. Pero now, I'm learning a different twist from him, yung mass market. At tingnan mo nga naman, if you're looking at the mass market, they're very resilient because they're born in crisis. And born with crisis, they live with crisis every day. And that's why they're a very
Yes.
resilient market. And thank you, Jomag, for the bulletproof, which is very appropriate to where you are now. This is a
Yes.
bulletproof tip. Yeah. Thank you very much for the pivot lessons of basketball. Thank you for that. And the audacity quotient, which is
Yes.
boldness, disregard for structure. Very beautiful indeed.
Correct, partner. The adversity quotient also. And while, partner, this is very interesting. I'm very excited to hear from our next panelist kasi we've been selling a lot of home spa solutions sa Oraispa these days. And that actually indicates that people are very excited to have their pampering schedules back. But this industry, the spa industry and the salons are not part of the first wave of businesses to open in the next weeks to come.
Mhm.
So let us meet our next panelist partner and hear from him, the driving force behind the fastest growing beauty salon brands in the Philippines, Excess Salon and Youth Salon. Our next panelist is a graduate of the Philippine School for Business Administration with a degree in business management. He is the former president of Stilo Salon. In 2010, he was awarded by Entrepreneur Magazine as one of the 10 most outstanding entrepreneur of the year. He is also a 2010 Go Negosyo and PLDT SME Bossing Awardee. Our panelist is also an appointee by President Rodrigo Duterte as board member for the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. He is currently the regional director for NCR of the Philippine Franchise Association. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the president and CEO of the Moreno Group of Companies, one of our kuyas in the industry, Mr. Federico Moreno. Good afternoon, Fred. You're on mute pa, Fred.
Wait. It's okay. All right.
There you go. Can you hear me well, guys?
Yes.
Yes, very well now.
Hi,
Take
good
it away,
afternoon.
Fred.
Good afternoon, Shea. Good afternoon, Doc Carl. Good afternoon to my co-panelists, Bossing Sammy. Welcome back. Great to see you back. And quite privileged to be joining my senior brothers, big brothers in business. My friends, my big brothers, my mentors are here with me. So quite privileged to be in very good company. But for us in the service industry, especially in the beauty salon, our main thing here now is we're preparing for the new norm. And we're being looked upon now at how are we gonna pull it off, no? So barbershops, salons, spas, nail salons. Well, we know for a fact that there's physical contact, no, with these establishments, with these business models. But with the research that we've been doing, I'll share you one research. it's an article in Germany wherein when they reopened their salons there, the booking was from morning to evening. No, of course, the safety and hygiene protocols were in place, and that strict implementation, of course, with the guidelines presented or policies given by the government. No, I also made some research in Bangkok when they reopened. There were really a lot of people, booking appointments. So I was telling my franchisees, which I've been closely working, no, we've been calling them, talking to them, and it's very important that we be in touch with them. As a franchisor, it's not just us who should be prepared, but most especially our franchisees, especially for, I would say, a business model which is franchise driven, just like us, no. So basically, what we're doing now, and we're preparing. I think that's the key word for our industry. We prepare, and we're preparing, particularly the safety and hygiene protocol, no. So, like what I mentioned a while ago, it's not just you as a franchisor that should be prepared. You should be preparing your franchisees mentally and physically, no. So it's different when the franchisee gets to talk to you. Either they feel that they're reassured of what's happening, and they know that your franchisor or their franchisor is there to help them and guide them. So with safety and hygiene protocol, there's no actually a template for the salon industry. So what we did, we've been calling all our international brand suppliers, namely Davines and L'Oreal. So we collated everything and worked hand in hand with them in creating I would say a very good safety and hygiene protocol. In fact, we even submitted this to the DTI through Secretary Mon Lopez, because when I was watching TV one time, I was quite surprised because this was still under the ECQ. There was this small, the community-based, very small barber shops. And when I saw it, I really got scared because no protocol was in place. So like what I mentioned, we created one, shared it to the DTI, and I hope that it could be of good help, no? So I'd like to share what we have been preparing, and I'm very, very fortunate that my big brothers are here. We're able to share what's next. But on our end, for us, what's next is the preparation, the safety and hygiene protocol. So I want to jump onto the bandwagon of the acronyms, no? The ECQs, the MECQs, the GCQs. Now it's a barbecue and the banana Q acronyms. So we created the 5 E's for our acronym. But this 5 E's is focused on the safety and hygiene protocol. The first E is execute. The second is everyone. The third is enforcing. The fourth is educate. And the fifth is evaluate. So the first E, execute, we divided it into 2 phases. No? So the first phase is during the ECQ, and the second phase is during the GCQ. So during the ECQ, of course, active social media campaigns, text marketing, email blasts saying that we are excited and ready to serve the consumers, that we are here to serve everyone, and that we shall be providing them the highest possible safety and hygiene protocols. No? Of course, with that, we display the pictures, preparing the SHP, or the safety hygiene protocols, the pieces of equipment that we're using, the readiness of the facilities, because there is this fear in the health and wellness industry, particularly in the salon industry, because of the physical contact. But then again, the safety and hygiene protocol plays a big part. That would be the key success factor to this. So now, during the GCQ, we will be showcasing our readiness again, the facilities and our team, of course. Gone are the days we're in the fashion hairstylist, no? The ones with the very fashionable hair, full makeup, very fashion clothes. It's gone. Stylists now will be wearing PPEs, face shields, masks, the headgear, the bootie, and of course the gloves, no? So it's reassuring also the consumers that, hey, when you enter the salons, you are safe, of course, there's no guarantee in life, no? Even whatever we do, let's say, for example, there are a few cases wherein, oh, I didn't know, they don't even know how they caught COVID, no? But being prepared and really making or setting that safety hygiene protocol, you're one step ahead. So the next E would be everyone. So what we mean by everyone should be moving forward in the same direction. So this would only be successful if you talk to all your franchisees. And I know for some brands like, let's say, the bigger brothers, the big brothers like 7-Eleven, we have about 3,000 outlets, thousands of franchisees, Maxis Group. I know it's quite difficult to talk to the franchisees one by one, but for a small company like us, we really wanted to make them understand that we should be going to the same direction, no? For them to feel and see that you are there for them, and about the status of their lease, you help them on their lease, give them inputs, help them write letters to their lessees, to their lessors, ask them about their employees, how are they doing, etc. Of course, their health and their family. And franchisees should understand by heart the plans and strategies. That is what we mean by everyone. That all persons also should understand how lucky they are to have a job. It's a lot of businesses are closing, and you know yung sinasabi nating malasakit, no? And again, if you have a job right now, you are very, very blessed. You are very, very fortunate. The third E for us is enforcing. So for me, this is the most important thing of all. Strictly enforce the safety and hygiene protocol. No more, no less. Very, very important. The fourth E is education. Educate. Every personnel should be educated on the do's and the don'ts, the essential facts about COVID-19, and understanding the new norm. The fifth E is to evaluate, assess what works and what doesn't work. So always keep thinking. Make sure that you talk to your people. If you can talk to your people on a daily basis, because this is a new norm, and nobody is a master of this. So you pick up a lot of new things every day. No standards are being set in place. So just like the Disney song, it's a whole new world, no? It's a whole new world. So having been said that, again, our focus here in the health and wellness industry, particularly in the salon industry, is that the safety and health protocol should be in place. I'm sorry, I've been stressing that too much, but yes, we should be, because it's not just the safety of our clients, but of course the safety of also of our employees that we are looking at. Thank you.
All right. Nice. How's your hair? Ikaw ba sa excess salon ginawa yung hair mo, Fred?
You know what?
Yeah.
I still have white hair. I really need to have those salons open already for my hair color.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ironic, no? Yeah. Thank you.
Partner, our takeaways, getting connected, and even, during ECQ, their programs to reach out their customers as well as their team and learn from best practices. Natutuwa ako, partner, kasi his iconic father, of course, Mr. Herman Moreno, is known for walang tulugan. But with Fred, he had a very assuring message, walang iwanan.
Walang iwanan.
Partner.
Malasakit. Nako, very, very Herman Moreno yon, ano? Knowing his dad, I should have learned those lessons. And partner, I love these 5 E's, ha? Yung execute, everyone, enforcing, educate, evaluate. Love it. Nadagdagan ko, gagawin kong 10. Execute to engage, everyone to energize, enforcing, educate to empower, and evaluate to elevate. Ayun, Fred. Ano?
Thank you. Thank you.
Kasi natin, ginawa ko ng 10 para masaya. Congratulations.
The more the merrier ba, partner?
No, because
napakabilis mo naman. Okay, let's move on to our... meron pa, partner? Meron ka pang takeaway muna?
No. Okay na yon. Thank you for that, Fred.
Yes. And at this point in time, partner, we also would like to remind our panelists and our keynote speaker. Now, there are questions at the Q&A box. We already have almost 50 which you can probably answer if it's directed to you. And our support team, our secretariat also partner, and the e-copyhan team is collating all the questions you will be asking later.
Yeah.
Moving on to our fifth panelist.
Wait,
the
partner.
last but not
Partner,
the
wait.
least.
I'd like to
Okay,
apologize.
sige.
Apologize lang tayo kasi nagkaroon ng glitch sa Facebook. Nagkaroon ng brownout somewhere from
Yes.
broadcasting our Zoom to Facebook, but it's now back. Thank you, and our apologies. Okay, rest assured that the entire proceedings are being recorded, and you'll be able to see this full and recorded sa website ng Philippine Franchise Association. Thank you. Go ahead, partner.
Oo. Kasi our board of trustees and directors are all on board, partner eh. So mabilis ang ating reporting for those glitches. Moving on, our next panelist. He is the learning innovator behind ARALinks, a holistic technology integration program designed for the Philippine K-12 context. As the Director of Digital Innovation of Phoenix Publishing House Incorporated, his work impacts over 300,000 learners and 10,000 teachers all over the Philippines through ARALinks. He is shortlisted under the 21st Century Learning category of the BETT Asia Awards in July this year for developing ARALinks coding education, the only edtech program in the Philippines that makes coding and invention more accessible to students and teachers alike. Our panelist is the first and only Filipino to date to be certified by the International Society for Technology in Education, the biggest organization of edtech leaders and advocates worldwide. To complete our panel for all our sectors in the franchising industry, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it from Mr. Ruben Velarde Jr. Good afternoon, Ruben.
Hello, Ms. Cheryl. Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to this conversation. It is such an honor to be with the so-called business big guns. So I hope that I will be able to share in the conversation. Can I proceed now?
Go ahead.
Take it away, Ruben.
Okay, so because as I am an educator, this is more of a contextualization and description of the education in our new realities. So there, I hope that the inputs may hopefully help business industries, food, retail, and services align their directions in a way or another. In the last 2 decades, the catchphrase reimagining learning has become the guiding principle when mooting 21st century education and talking about 21st century education. The fact, however, that the classroom has remained to be a highly teacher-led, or the classroom has remained to be highly teacher-led proves that such tenet of a reimagined learning or principle is difficult or is still a work in progress. I guess, however, that the new normal in education will now push schools, will now push educators like us to truly reimagine learning. And in the face of the new realities, we in the education service industry, particularly publishing, are the frontliners, like the teachers. We are on the front lines of what will likely prove to be a watershed moment in education. I think that the new normal in education means 2 things. 1, that there will be less on-campus or face-to-face teaching and learning. And 2, the prevalence of distance learning mode or a heightened home-based learning. So since March, schools have been scrambling to find solutions to ensure operational continuity in the coming school year. Suddenly, online distance learning has become a buzzword. Many of those who used to ignore tech-powered learning became advocates of learning technologies. And suddenly, like I said, schools are talking about learning management systems. And this is where our role as publishers will come in, even as it is being put to test, so to speak. I lead the digital solutions arm of Phoenix Publishing House, but I also am an educator who has seen up close the intricacies and the challenges in putting up an online distance learning program in the Philippines. Having led the first blended learning program in the country at St. Paul College, Pasig, where I taught for 15 years, and having worked with around 300 schools nationwide for tech-powered learning, I am aware that the digital divide in the Philippines is a big challenge to make learning for all possible via online distance learning only. And this is even true in first world countries like the United States. Do you know that in March, when schools in the United States had to close because of the pandemic, US school districts acknowledged that only 60% of their nearly 44 million K-12 students have decent internet access. So they needed to come up with offline solutions for the remaining 40%. So if a first world nation is at 40% in terms of no or poor internet access, how far worse off are we in the Philippines? So as a textbook publisher and a digital solutions provider, we need to help schools along this concern. And amid the digital divide in the country, deep digital divide in the Philippines, we have both offline and online solutions. I firmly believe that remote or distance learning as the new normal will still largely depend on printed solutions. In its research, for instance, the World Bank is also highly recommending the use of an offline remote learning model utilizing printed materials in countries like ours. So kami po sa Phoenix, we are not only providing the same textbook materials that we have been producing. To address the need for distance learning resources, we developed distance learning print materials that will complement the printed textbooks. So the printed textbooks still remain as the main source. And because we believe that this is what schools need, the learning materials that are appropriate to the context or setting where there will be less teacher presence. And to make teaching truly effective, we have also been running series of webinars for teachers. These are online trainings that empower them to employ distance learning effectively. So on one hand, we also have in Phoenix a holistic technology integration solution called Aralinks, like what Ms. Cheryl mentioned earlier. It is one that puts utmost importance to the learning first, technology second principle. Therefore, other than the learning technologies that we provide, such as hardware and even connectivity, we make sure that we guide teachers in effectively using technology through database trainings and even consultancy services. So moreover, we also have learning resources in ebook formats as an offline digital solution. So already, I would like to share that there are schools that they are reporting to us of the expected decline in their enrollment this year. One big school in Central Luzon, for instance, projected a decline of 500 to 600 in their population. And this is because the schools cater to middle-income families, mostly families with OFWs as parents, who are obviously affected by the pandemic. So it is also projected that around 2 million students, K-12 students, will transfer to the public schools, according to the Coordinating Council for Private Educational Associations of the Philippines, or COCOPEA. So in essence, we are really affected as educational service industry. And we have been doing a lot of initiatives, like I said earlier, to address this. But true to our shared goal in Phoenix with the schools that we serve nationwide, around 2,000 plus of them, private schools, K-12 schools, we need to ensure that we keep learning going amid the pandemic. So that is just my sharing for this afternoon. So maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Reuben. Thank you. Yeah, indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, Reuben was so a little concerned because you know, he'll be talking about education and not business. I said, you know, everyone, all of us partner are, I mean, affected by this. You know?
Yes.
Children. We have children. We have
Correct.
some of us are also in business, in the business of education. Thank you very much, Reuben. Thank you for reminding us that learning comes ahead of the technology, and the technology is just
Technology.
a tool to deliver that learning. All right, partner, go ahead and let's continue with our reactor.
Yes, so a lot of questions for our panelists and keynote speaker. But before we go to that, partner, we only have one reactor this afternoon, and she's also the rose among our set of speakers, the only rose among our set of speakers. I'm very grateful to be working with her for the past year as part of the She Rose program. This afternoon's session reactor is a dynamic business leader with 30 years work experience in health insurance and consumer banking, gained from local and multinational financial institutions. She is currently the Executive Vice President of InLife, the first and largest Filipino company that specializes in insurance plans in the Philippines, and also the President and CEO of Insular Healthcare, Insular Life's HMO subsidiary, one of the valued partners of Philippine Franchise Association. Let's all hear and give it up for Miss Noemi Azura. Good afternoon, Noemi.
Hi, Noemi.
Hello, magandang araw. That's the way that we greet our customers at Insular Life. My first reaction, actually, it is a privilege to meet and hear the rock stars of PFA talk and share about their experience during this very difficult time. So now I understand why PFA is so successful, because the leaders are very talented. They have the breadth and depth of experience. They have been there in good and in bad times, but despite their success and achievements, well, based on the past 2 days that I've been working with them, they are also down to earth and approachable. So these are attributes, no, that we are looking for very good business mentors. So I'd like also to start my second reaction with a quote from Richard Sands. I don't know if he remembers this, but in 2018, there was a press briefing about PFA, and during that time, there were also concerns about the depreciation of the currency and increasing inflation. But he said during that year, Philippine Franchise PFA experienced blockbuster registration of 250% increase versus prior year. And he said that PFA posted that 250% increase because the franchising sector is an outlier. And what the PFA is offering is not just a product, but more importantly, a livelihood. And this is why franchising is vibrant, even during hard times. And earlier, I also heard Joe Mag saying that, it was during the global financial crisis, no, that he first opened his international franchise in the US. So I see that entrepreneurial risk-taking, although it's very calculated risk-taking. So these comments and this past risk-taking activities still resonate today as we go through the very difficult period and consequences of an economic shutdown. SMEs will continue to be an important engine of economic recovery. And the franchising sector is an enabler of SMEs. So SMEs will help us return to growth because they provide the three ingredients of growth. Number one, livelihood. So as an entrepreneur or business owner or a franchisee, you are gaining livelihood from having your SME or franchise. Number the products and services that will again drive consumption. So probably hearing from the conversations earlier, we are going also to see some tweaking in the franchising models, and I very much look forward to that personally, because I think it was Robert Trota who said that what they're experiencing is shifting to delivery and less real estate, so smaller real estate, which is the very high fixed cost. Probably the new franchising models will be more affordable to more people. And then I was also very impressed with the way that Mr. Sammy Lim made an analogy between his recovery from COVID-19 to the economic recovery of the Philippines. And he ended on a very positive note, which is encouraging. And it was also his outlook that there wellness, home education or homeschooling and nursing homes. And I thought that, everything will be, that every business has already been templated in a form of a franchise model. But no, from the crisis emerged also new opportunities which are probably franchisable in the future. At this point, let me also share my reaction from the point of view of life insurance. So just from our customers. Number one, there's heightened awareness about and interest about the importance of protection. Number two, there's also an increase in digital adoption from our agents or financial advisors and also from our customers. So it's we are fortunate that most of our life insurance products for individuals cover deaths from COVID-19 unless they're accidents only. And then for our group, and we also have retirement and hospitalization and group term insurance for SMEs. So for as few as 5 to 99, you can enroll in a retirement plan and have your retirement funds managed by professionals. And also for hospitalization for as few as 25 employees, you can get a group hospitalization plan. Now moving on, the other observation is digital adoption. So we're very fortunate because business transformation focused on building our digital capabilities. So when the ECQ was announced, we were in a very good position to respond to the ECQ. We have the in-life vibe or the virtual business enabler, which allows our financial advisors to sell or to distribute our products to clients or prospects who are interested to know more about protection products or life insurance products. Then we also use a straight-through automated underwriting system. So if the prospect would like to get a life insurance, it will go through a digital process of underwriting. Then the third is our customer portal. So our policyholders can just go to the portal, they can manage their investments there, they can make payments, they can also submit claims documents if they need to file a claim. And in April, responding with agility as agility is now. So we responded immediately and we launched our e-commerce channel in April. But to end my my reaction, I have good news for everyone. Insular Life is celebrating its 110th anniversary in November, and we thought that we will celebrate this milestone by giving. And therefore, we are launching the first to know, all the viewers in this webinar, plus all the participants, protection. So what is this about? Insular Life, through the Insular Foundation, is giving 110,000 free insurance in case an individual will die of COVID-19 or and when an individual gets hospitalized for COVID-19, he will get a daily cash allowance of 500 pesos for a maximum of 10 days. And we're giving this away for 110,000 individuals in the essential services sector. So we are just about to launch this, but I would invite every one of you to apply to get this free life insurance coverage. We will leave the link to get to know more about the in-life chain of protection with the PFA Secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Noemi. Partner, what are your takeaways? That's very exciting kasi although we are not prepared with ECQ, but we can actually prepare for ECF, which is Emergency Cash Fund, that we can actually use. So it's really about preparing. preparing ourselves as entrepreneurs and covering our own teams, partner.
Yeah, nice
So ang mga
operating.
entrepreneurs na, yes, na covered ang healthcare ng staff nila, like katulad sa amin, we are very kampante, no?
Tama.
During this time of crisis.
Yeah,
So
actually,
partner,
kung may natutunan
yes.
tayo, partner, today in this crisis, it's really our financial literacy and our preparedness for the future. I think after this, people realized na after 1 week or 2 weeks that their lockdown or there was no income, nagsuffer na kaagad yung kanilang financial situation. I think it's a very fertile mode now that the Philippines are learning financial literacy, the online banking, and all of those digitalization. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, partner. Yung binanggit ni yes, partner, wait, yung binanggit ni Miss Noemi na ilo-launch nila na project that is in partnership with also part of that, it will be launched at Philippine Franchise Association, so our members could apply for that na, partner. So we will have the info through our page and our group chats.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
partner.
yung hinihingi kanina ng mga slides, especially the slides of Mr. Sammy Lim, it's already actually posted in our Viber group. Maybe we will request the Secretariat to also make it available in our Facebook. However, yung humihingi ng mga notes ng takeaways, sana nag-notes ka na lang, no? Binigyan pa ako ng dagdag trabaho. Anyway, yeah. Maybe put Mr. Sammy Lim back on a spotlight because I have very nice questions for him. Yeah. Mr. Lim.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, you made some forecasts about industries that will offer great opportunities now. There are two related questions to that. Are there existing franchisors now within those industries already? Would you know of existing concepts that are already available? And do you have the other concepts that you think will suit the new normal? Could you think of existing concepts or franchisors already available for what you prescribe as opportunities? Wait, huh? Okay. Yes. All right. All right. Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No, are there existing franchise who are, I'm sorry?
Existing franchise concepts that fit to what you predicted as good opportunities brought about by this pandemic?
No, well, I'll take off from the last speaker, talk about education. There is a movement about home study or something, home education, homeschooling, yeah. It's not a franchise, but I just talked to one of the organizer. They have an annual conference of over 1,000 people, and it's growing by the year. I think that's one of the things that will, and I will talk to them and see how that can be a franchise program. Although right now, I think it's basically a licensing program.
Yeah. My preschool, actually, Sammy, my preschool is operating under the no physical contact preschool now. It's operating for the school year. I think there are great opportunities really in education. I agree, my review center is doing good after we have migrated to virtual learning.
Yeah. Well, the others are basically just innovations of what is right now, whether it's healthcare and a product and beauty products, that and the retail side. On the service, if you have specific question, I know on a specific franchise, I can give you, but there's just so many of them. Yeah.
Okay. Another question very much related is, having analyzed this, do you have any forecast of the recovery period? Do you have a read on the recovery period?
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that on the assessing. I think the year 2020 is basically second half is for us to assess, and for acting basically is 2021. Which is for us to do what has to be done. But even towards the second part of 2021, we will start to already accelerate. But really the acceleration would come up probably 2022 2022 to 2025. And as I said, there will be a boom. And I think that there's a saying in franchising that says, when times are good, franchising is good. When the times are bad, franchising is even better because of all the new possibilities of new potential franchisees.
Yeah, thanks for that. And of course, having known you also as an advocate of tourism and business, I mean travel business, they're also interested to find out what's your take on the travel and tourism. What's your read
on tourism? As early as a couple of months from now, you can travel basically by car to in Luzon. So from GCQ area to GCQ area, and by June, the IATA, which is the largest travel agents association, they believe that many of the international airline will start to operate. Now the question is whether people will be brave enough and what the protocols are. But basically, for countries that are declared relatively safe, or specific cities, country cannot be declared safe, but specific cities can be declared safe. And I think airlines will be traveling, will be going. Even for I think Secretary Roque yesterday said that they will allow domestic airline to travel from GCQ area to GCQ area. So we have to see which of the airport have been declared as GCQ.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Lim. Yeah, I'd like to have the questions addressed to Robert Cota. Yeah, Robert, you mentioned about the 70% contribution of dine-in to your revenue. The question is, how are you managing your costs, considering that, especially the fixed costs like rent? And the question, I don't know if this is curiosity, but he's asking, are you thinking or are you considering pulling out from malls? Then, how are you managing your costs, especially your fixed costs of rent? And are you thinking of pulling out from malls?
Okay, first, as was COVID announced and, sorry, not announced, but the lockdown announced, that obviously we needed to talk to our different landlords. And they've been our partners for such a long time. So we felt that it was we had to negotiate on a win-win. And most were very receptive, and we're thankful for that. Now, our bigger stores that have big dine-in, they had, well, as I said, we do things fast now. So we repurposed some of our bigger stores to be multi-brand kitchens. This was mentioned by Rich a while ago to be cloud kitchens. So it doesn't matter now if the rider is driving a Max bike delivering Krispy Kreme products. The point is it has to get to the customer safely and the right quality. So I think we're still okay in terms of cost. The bigger cost obviously is these are investments that are now not being utilized fully today. Mm-hmm. But that's part of 2020. Let's put that aside already and work as again remaining afloat is going to be the norm. And I think the new normal is doing business through different channels. Now, the other question would be on the malls. Well, let's assess when they start opening. Again, yeah, we do have bigger stores. I can fold in multi-brands into the bigger store because I could have Max, Pancake House, and Yellow Cab in one space as against having three of them all together in the mall in different areas. It does become very efficient for me now if I start doing that and consolidating. So can you imagine having one kitchen in front of the house, one manager? Can you imagine one cashier? Although still separate as a brand, but the back of the house, which is more important, it can be shared.
Nice.
So again, let's assess. Again, the malls are very receptive to discussions on how we can stay, and obviously we all want to work together. So if we can, let's see how it goes as the people get more accustomed to going out and maybe going to the malls and decide to start dining in, then we can maybe assess that part. But for now, those stores that I mentioned that I might have closed, those are maybe stores that we planned on closing prior to COVID.
Yeah.
The action just now is let's get it done. Let's get it closed already. Let's not wait anymore. Because anytime, the longer it's open, the more it's going to cost us. But for the existing ones that were still profitable, and as we open stores, store operating profit is our key number. Because we can say the company may not be profitable as a whole as we start downsizing, but if the store is profitable as an individual and contributing as a whole, that will be better for us rather than when we don't want the bleeders, because there's a lot of effort now to run these stores, and you don't want bleeders to start draining your pockets from losses.
All right. And there's someone here who needs your advice, Robert, because prior to the quarantine, she was ready, or he was ready to start a restaurant. In fact, all the permits are already prepared to start a restaurant. Even a contract of 3 years to the lessor was already made. The question is, do you advise this entrepreneur to start? After this lockdown, do you advise him or her to start?
I think if I was reading one of the questions, I think, yeah, he was into catering and I think was going to set up. Well, I think you should wait. You should see how each town or each area or trading area, your trading area is going to react after the quarantines are lifted. How are the people going to go out? You could defer your investment by a few more months or even start maybe next year. But if you open and it's not ready, you will be operating at a loss once you start opening those doors, because there'll be fixed costs. You'll have overhead. You'll have wait staff, or you'll have cost of labor, all there when no sales. So the fact that you didn't open yet, I think you're lucky. And you can just wait first and assess things. Now is not really the time to be aggressive. Be more conservative this time.
Yeah. Naku, napakaswerte nung nagtanong na yun. Imagine an advice from the Robert Trota. Yeah. I'd like to direct this next question to Rich, being a CFE and one of the leaders of the PFA. Sabi niya, if I have a capital, which I assume the person has, will I get a franchise that is essential? Or do I follow my heart and choose a franchise that I want? Yeah, Rich. Very,
Okay.
very nice question.
Tough,
Tough
question. Tough question. But I guess same with what Robert said. You have to read the times, and now is really the time to be more on the conservative side. During normal times, entrepreneurs would always be on the aggressive side, on the risk-averse side. But I think now it's personally, I'd go for essentials. If I would invest on something now, I would go for something that would be a basic necessity, something that would bring in transactions, something that customers would need at this time. So I guess for me, I would go the business is related to essentials.
Yeah, but of course, franchising is better in crisis, as Mr. Samili mentioned. I'd like to address this question to Jomag. Did you have a business continuity plan prior to this one, to this crisis? Is that something available for considering the thousands of branches you have?
Oh, we started the business continuity plan in 2001 when I made the business plan when I was a student at AIM, and that continuity plan is still valid until today.
And it's working.
I've been talking about multiple curves.
Mm-hmm.
It just took us, we were just taking our sweet time doing these multiple curves. We didn't care whether those curves were being successful or not, because potato corner was wonderful. It's like the goose that lays the golden egg, no? So we didn't care about the others. Now this crisis becomes good for us because it forces us to activate now and look and focus and put a microscope on each of those curves now, those new businesses. So we're happy, in a way, we're happy about those.
Good. All right, good one. What about you, Robert? That's also a question for you. Of course, knowing all the brands, and of course, you have to answer my question, Robert. That's my privilege as the moderator. Which of your brands do you think is on top of it all, considering
Well,
the
well, yeah, of course, Yellow Cab has always been a delivery brand. Pizza has always been a delivery brand. Max also was part of it, but our top two again, yeah, was Yellow Cab and Krispy Kreme.
Mhm.
Now, because delivery became so, everyone was having everything delivered between Grab, Lala Food, uh, Food Panda, and others. No, the advantage we had a little bit is we had our own fleet because everybody outside or in any business started to use the delivery platform. And obviously, if you didn't have your systems in place, you would rely on Grab or all of these. But they got fully booked really quick. They got overwhelmed. I think the demand was so high. So we are still able to successfully deliver to our clients using our own system. But obviously, it's a bit difficult because we had limited riders, limited agents. We couldn't really deliver within the hour. I think the deliveries became within the morning or within the afternoon, and that's part of doing business under these conditions, which most of our customers understood and were willing naman. So we tried to become more, be transparent at what we can and cannot do. And the other thing is that market day that we launched, which brings our items or ready to cook items ready to eat to their different communities, has been successful. So you choose a day and you bring it to them. So they anticipate that, and you actually, it helps because you already set up the procedure, and more importantly, it's market day for Alabang to my friends here in the village. It was on Wednesday, so you anticipate the delivery on a Wednesday. So we were able to become more efficient that way, rather than shotgun and deliver everywhere. But yes.
Robert, you emphasize the word agility. What worked for you better, or what worked for you more effectively? Was it your business continuity plan or the agility, specifically for this scenario?
Survival was the word, right? And how do you preserve your key resources, which one was obviously cash. The next one was your people and your organization. So I think the agility portion was stronger for us this time because we knew it was survivability as the key word for us, and to us to continue. And again, as I mentioned, if it doesn't work, try again. And that's why fail fast for us was, let's give it a try. And tomorrow, change, do another thing, put another bundle. It had to be done. It's no choice. And I think everyone had the same attitude under this crisis. And can you imagine how half the staff doing the same amount of work, and doing it at a faster pace? It's unbelievable. So I really salute my team for that.
All right. And Fred, there's a question here. Do you know of any movement to reconsider the fate of the salon and the spa? Okay, to be considered as something that can open under the new terms. Somebody's asking if there is a movement for it, and is there a way now that you can share your hygiene protocol?
Yeah, for the safety and hygiene protocol, yes, we're willing to share it. I could post it on my, well, they can shoot me an email. I could write my email there at the chat box. As per a movement, it's really annoying. For us, the gold standard for me is the dental industry.
Okay.
When it comes to safety and hygiene protocol, no? So what we did when we were doing the safety and hygiene protocols, spoke to a few dentists also. What do you do? What is this for? What is that for? So when we did the safety hygiene protocol, we have one gold standard and one for the others that cannot really afford that gold standard. We're talking about the mass-based salon, no? So it would take probably with everything that's happening, take about 5 to 10 days for everybody to reopen. If you want the gold standard, it would take a longer time. So a movement, well, we're just really waiting for government to open the doors for us. But 5 days, we'll be ready. Doing the minor renovation, and a bit more on the gold standard.
All right.
Needs.
There's
You
also
know,
yes, go ahead,
Mm,
partner.
sige. Yeah, partner, because a lot of concerns also now with schedules. Some of the or most of the business establishments are being informed if they're ready to open on the weekend on Saturday for the even for the MECQ areas. So a lot of the tenants and the businesses are actually asking for a weekend, yung binabanggit ni Fred kanina, no, na 5 to 10 days to clean up, especially for the service industry to have their clean room available for their customers. So partner, if I may also add, yung binabanggit kanina ni Mr. Robert Trota, no, the third-party couriers also available to help out the food industry for takeout and deliveries. Napapagkwentuhan natin for the last e-copyhans, no, those major couriers or logistics partners were available in NCR but practically absent outside NCR. That actually gave way to a lot of third-party logistics partners to be available. Nagkaroon ng resurgence of startups on this area, partner, which probably can be also a good chance for small businesses to partner with. Meron yung mga pasabay, meron yung mga, that are only operating in certain localities. Kasi these are happening outside NCR.
Yeah.
Yes, partner, do you have probably,
Yeah.
I have
another, I have another question for Reuben of Phoenix. Yeah, Reuben. Yes. They're asking, are you seeing that the online learning where we are shifting now would increase the number of out of school youth? And what is your comment of the virtual learning considering the connectivity issues by our internet provider?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I emphasize that in my sharing that the digital divide will be a hindrance to really ensuring that there is a learning access to all. That's why we at Phoenix are actually providing still the offline solutions such as print materials to them, Sir Carl.
Right.
In fact, TEPED is doing the same. They're gonna come up with learning kits that will be delivered to the houses actually of students.
Okay. So the key really here will be the teachers and how resourceful the teacher could be, no?
Yes, I cannot agree more with you when it comes to that, because I think now more than ever is the chance for teachers to ensure that learning truly happens, because like I said, the presence of the teacher is reduced, but when learning is appropriately designed, teacher's presence is heightened.
Yeah.
In the learning process. So, but at the same time, I think I would like to emphasize that this is now the time for the home-school collaboration.
Yeah.
Because most of the learning will happen in the families.
And the digital divide can be addressed by some resourcefulness, no? I think
Yes,
there was a threat by the World Economic Forum that the digital divide will widen if there will be less collaboration between private and government. And there are some movements already. In fact, if I may just share, being a member of the PFA, that I led the collaboration for the elimination of digital divide, where we are campaigning families and corporations to donate their used and still useful digital devices. We will fix it and we will give it to families who may not have it. So we have that campaign. There's a Facebook created for it, collaboration to eliminate the digital divide. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone in the panel may answer this question. And I think this is very important. How do you handle or manage manpower costs during this crisis? Given the bottom line is challenged, are layoffs, redundancies worth considering? So anyone in the panel, please answer this. How are you managing or handling your manpower costs?
Partner,
Yeah.
while they are preparing to answer that question from the panel, because a lot of our MSMEs was established by 65 65% women, no, established. I'd like to hear from our reactor, Ms. Noemi, of any women-specific programs Insular have for our women entrepreneurs in the country right now.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Miss Noemi, go ahead.
Okay, hi Chef. Thank you for that question. No? Yes, we do. We have an In Life Sheroes movement. This is a program in partnership with the International Finance Corporation. It's about women empowerment. So we empower women in 4 focus areas. Number 1 is financial education. Number 2 is health and wellness education. The third is connecting women to social and business networks, which is really about mentoring. And then the last one is creating solutions customized for women. So this we are celebrating, just celebrated our first year anniversary. And so far we have touched more than 300,000 lives with these focus areas. And we are very proud to have Ms. Cheryl Quintana as one of our In Life Sheroes. She inspires Circle ambassadors. For the customized solutions, we are very encouraged with the results of our first customized solution for women, which is our prepaid under the HMO company of subsidiary of Insular Life, the emergency prepaid care solutions. So these are all distributed through e-commerce, and clients may purchase them. The price is very affordable. It's from 700 pesos to 1,750 pesos. And the best seller is the 1,750, which entitles a beneficiary to hospitalization and outpatient emergency coverage with the 1,400 clinics, well, hospitals that we have nationwide. So you can get this from our e-commerce store. You will get a digital voucher, and you can just present a digital voucher to our partner hospital. So we are very pleased to see that 71% of the purchasers are women, and some of them are single parents. So thank you very much to all the supporters. So that's one. And we have regular financial education seminars, and our resource is Miss Rose Fausto, the FQ mom. So she just conducted a webinar on financial education, especially during this time of health crisis. And we can share, you just visit our In Life Sheroes YouTube channel and also the In Life Sheroes website for a schedule of more seminars in the future. We have other women-specific products like the Entrepreneur, which is the first prepaid solution covering preventive, emergency, life insurance, and also maternity allowance, depending on the variant. And then we also have the She Care solution, which is critical illness coverage for women. So please visit our website to see these customized solutions for women. So all of this we're doing because of the double bottom line that is our objective. You make a profit while delivering impact insurance.
All right. So thank you very
Wow,
much.
ang dami. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, partner, let's move on
Yes.
to your
Let's move on to
question
this
for
question.
our...
How are you managing your manpower costs? Are you seeing layoffs, redundancies worth considering? Anyone in the panel who may want to answer that?
Doc Carl, I'll answer.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, Rich.
Doc Carl?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. I was in a meeting with in the IATF with Secretary Bello, and he said the goal of the government now is really to preserve jobs. So the government is open to any arrangement as long as jobs are preserved. So in our case, I think, of course, the priority is to, and anyone would not want to lay off anyone. But we are allowed to do reduced work days, so
Yeah.
or reduced hours. And meaning when you do reduced work days, you can do alternate days. Maybe you can segregate your team into two, whether it's in the store or in the factory or in the head office, as long as the most number of jobs are. So that is my personal view, that better to reduce the working hours and spread out the employees who will be working.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that,
I'd like
Richard.
to add, Doc Carl.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, for us, we've been receiving actually numerous of PMs, DMs, no, already booking when the ECQ is lifted, no. So what we did was just like what Rich mentioned. We have Team A and Team B. So with that, we get to cut down on the cost because let's say, for example, areas that are not going to be open yet for let's say some other reasons, we pull them out and bring them to one outlet. So let's say, for example, Team A for Monday, Team B for Tuesday. But what the best thing also, or the best part of this also, is that because of the booking of the clients, we can put their appointments on the idle hours. Let's say, for example, pre-COVID time, idle hours are in the mornings.
Yeah.
So most people, they go to the late afternoon till evening. So now, it was actually an opportunity on our end to fill in the salons in the mornings because of the bookings, no? Because of the appointments, then followed by the afternoon, which is still slow. Because in our industry, it starts to pick up mid-afternoon pagabi. So yeah, it's that's one way for us to cut down on payroll cost.
Yeah. Sana wag natin kalimutan na yung mga taong kasama natin nung umaangat, kailangan kasama din natin ngayon. Ano? Kapit lang.
Tama.
Kasama. Ano? Anyway.
Tama.
Yeah.
Carl, yeah.
Yes.
I can add to that, Carl.
Sure.
Okay, so what we've been doing also, well, so we look at the head count and we look at the business involved. The next is we need to repurpose the people if that particular, for us as a dine-in was a big thing. So what we're going to do with all our servers? So now we have to move them into either they're going to be call center employees taking orders since they're familiar with it, or they could be riders that would deliver the food. So finding another purpose for them is what we're going to be doing when after all of this is done. Despite the, let's say, the limited sales, before you even think about letting them go. Again, they were there when you started and we really need to take care of them. So we're going to find ways to, and if they decide to become an independent rider, not be employed by us, we can help finance the motorbike and we can pay them per transaction. So I think there are many ways for us to repurpose these employees before we lay them off. But thinking longer term, we really have to find ways really to be more efficient in running our businesses because it has proven ourselves with this crisis that we can really do a lot given the number with less people actually in our workplace.
That's correct. All right. Jomag, somebody was able to relate well to your analogy of pivoting using the example of playing basketball. Yeah, and he's wanting to understand more. Of course, you mentioned about the DNA, etc. But his question is, in terms of in pivoting in the new norm, what risks in terms of the brand and financials are you seeing if one pivots too far away from its core? Yeah, please explain this to Ronald Plaza. Hi.
Okay, hi. Thank you for that question. Before I answer that question, I'd like to add to the conversation on human capital. No? For us, we have two things we're doing. Those who are not able to go to work today, because part of our values is entrepreneurship, we are converting our employees into entrepreneurs. So our franchisees are not only the entrepreneurs, now our employees are the entrepreneurs. That's why we have 380 home special forces and growing, because our employees who are not able to work are becoming entrepreneurs already. And then the other side of the business, those that when we're organizing now, we put our HR in under martial law, meaning part of what Robert also said, repurposing people, doubling work people, assigning people to different kinds of jobs now. So no questions asked. Consultation is not an issue at this crisis time. No, you just put everything in martial law and do whatever you think is needed to save your company. Now on the question on pivoting, of course, you pivot depending on your resources. No, look into yourself before you pivot. Am I a player? Am I a player now in this crisis? If I am not, and I don't have the money to pivot, I will just conserve, stop what I'm doing, and spot trends. Everything that we're talking about today is all about spotting trends. Once you establish a trend and you find the critical factor or the critical variable that's causing that trend, whether downwards or upwards, then you've found the secret opportunity into where you're going to do. Then you pivot now because you've found that critical thing. If you haven't found the critical thing that's causing a trend, you better not pivot, because that means you don't know what you're doing, you're guessing.
Very nice. Thank you very much for that. And also to give you an example, partner, di ba you're aware that the business of my wife is the Little Lamb Kids Spa? And you can just imagine
Yes,
how it
we're
will
a fan of
survive,
that.
considering the children cannot go out. You know, she has that kids salon and kids spa. But we
Yes.
realized we did not forget that she's a pediatrician. And
Oh,
now the
wow.
problem that we saw is that not many parents would like to bring their kids to hospitals. And therefore, now
Wonderful.
we are
Yes.
converting our kids spa to be where the doctors will be doing their clinic. And now we have created a concept of the co-clinic space. If there's such a thing as
Wonder.
co-working space, now we're creating this
Co-working.
co-clinic space where doctors will come there and inform their patients that they are in a place where social distancing is respected. There is a strict implementation of schedules, etc. And it seems to work. I mean, there are so many doctors interested and so many patients not wanting to bring their kids to the hospital. And we saw an opportunity. But in the beginning, she was very frustrated because she
Galing.
wanted to close the concept. So it's still Little Lambs. It's still Little Lambs. But this time, it's not a spa for kids.
Correct.
Wonderful
Yeah.
pivot, Carl. Wonderful pivot.
Yeah. And that's it. Even
Yeah.
in my case, for my review center partner, this is where I and of course Reuben can relate to this very well, because after we migrated to full online, now my schools are seeking our help to use our content for their higher education. Instead of their teachers creating the content, I already have the content, so we are just collaborating to deliver the virtual content, from podcasts to electronic books to digital learning, etc. So indeed, the collaboration is very vital and very fertile in this age of crisis. All right, partner?
Yes. Best practice, partner. I have a question actually for Dr. Sammy as well as Robert. Because I know Robert has already rapid testing kits available for their team. And I'd like to ask the advantages for those who are actually thinking if they're going to have rapid testing procedures for those who are opening next week. Looking forward to that. So that question is directed to Dr. Sami, which he was mentioning earlier, properly assessing the situation. And i-segue ko na rin, partner, that question related to that, to Ms. Noemi, is Insular Healthcare providing programs for the rapid testing or like the testing procedures for their partners and their clients at the IHC? So, yun, partner, for Dr. Sami and Robert and Noemi.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If I can go ahead, I have low battery. I've got to now. Well, I'm also working with the Philippine Retailers Association. Sorry.
Go ahead. We can hear you well, Sami.
Okay. And we are recommending to the malls, and they have agreed to, that for a retailer with only 1 or 2 employees, you ask them to go for rapid testing in their own vicinity or somewhere. It's very difficult. So we're asking the mall to provide the facilities. Okay. So every small retailer with 1 or 2 or even 5 employees, they will go to the facilities in the mall that will test them. And it will become more authentic because, you are never sure when somebody tells you I was tested, when they were tested, where they were tested. So the malls now, I think Shoemart is already doing that. Now, On the other hand, the rapid testing is valid only literally for a few days, right? You have to do it maybe every week or so. Now, some retailer feel that, once you have got it tested, what you do now is you just provide your sales people the mask and even the shield if need to, and follow all the other protocols, the alcohol, the cleaning of all the places that are in touch with the customers. So that's what we basically are trying to do in retail stores. So we will take the rapid test maybe once, but then after that, it's basically just maintaining the safety precautions.
Thank you with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes,
Okay.
for Robert, the advantage of conducting the testing.
Well,
For
so
those
yes,
who
we're
are
part of the
contemplating, diba?
yeah, we're part of the group of Joey with ARC, and we bought about 10,000 kits. The real intent really is to create a baseline of testing, so we know if there are people that are infected or not.
Can charge battery.
The most critical for us really now is our commissary, which produces really it's the lifeline to all our stores. So I need to test them on a weekly. As again, rapid test has its it's not perfect, but it's better than none. So if it's 85% accurate, then I test every Monday, and next Monday I test again. If there are different indicators, then those are isolated, those are quarantined, those traced, and you do everything. But in the store level, which I'm great to hear that Richard passed on that memo of SM. That's a great move, really, because it will really help when there are, it's the asymptomatics you want to find, and not because the ones that have symptoms is you can see that, but the asymptomatics you want to find. So, and the whole purpose is if there is one that is test positive, then we'll assume everyone around him will be tested, and it will become, and that's the way to address the spread.
Yeah.
So I think Joey has, I think there's almost 1 million test kits from the 180, 190 corporations, and local governments are doing the same. And that's the way to get out of this situation. You test, you trace, and you treat. So hopefully a lot of people follow. But again, being in the food business, I needed to do that, not for the safety of my customers, the safety of my employees, and for our peace of mind also, just to make sure that there are not people that are roaming. Especially delivery is a big thing, because can you imagine all those riders having different contacts? So the protocols for the riders are very strict, and they're the ones that will be tested more than the people that are not really exposed that much, because then the riders are the ones that interact. Even though it's contact, they say you don't have to pay, but there is that some sort of contact still happening. As against if you look at some countries that they deliver the food and leave it in the front door. Baka makain yun ng pusa or something like that. So sa atin kailangan may face to for someone to receive man lang, no? So yes.
All right. And partner, let's ask for
the
final message of all our reactor panelists and Mr. Lim, please. Let's start with I think you have a standing question for
Noemi.
For Miss Noemi, yes. And
yes.
And also your final shot, Miss Noemi.
Okay, yeah, we do have clients requesting for this service, and we have identified and shortlisted partners who can administer the antibody rapid testing. So the package can come a service only, or the test kits plus service, and whether they want to use the ARC protocols, meaning that there's a physician, there's a nurse, and then there's a medical technologist. Consideration should be logistics, whether you want your employees to go to different laboratories or clinics, or you will designate a central testing location for your employees depending on the geographic spread of your businesses. But rapid testing can only work if you do it continuously. So the first test should be to establish the baseline, which was said earlier, but it has to be done every now and then.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Noemi. Maybe have the
parting shots.
Parting shot, please, Noemi.
Pardisha, thank you for having me here. I was so starstruck with all the rock stars of PFA, and we are a proud, Insular Life is a proud partner of PFA.
All right. And we have Reuben, please. Reuben Velarde of Phoenix.
Thank you again. Being with all the rock stars. Okay, so thank you.
Okay. And Fred? Yes, Fred.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yes, thank you for having me. It was really a privilege to be a co-panelist with my big brothers. Well, my final message would be, I'd like to quote the famous author Neil Gaiman. No? He talks about resilience of mankind, survival, belief, and fragility of life. We are tougher than we seem. We are tougher than we think. Our stories will outlive us. Let's make them good.
All right. And we only have one chance to write that. Thank you very much, Fred. And may we have, shall we have Rich? Rich, your final shot, please.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I always always opportunity that lies lurking in the corners, and as entrepreneurs, I think it is our strength to find those opportunities. It's scary if you're gonna look at it. The uncertainty is scary, but if we focus on what we do best as entrepreneurs, we can find those opportunities and make the most out of it. So thank you to all.
Thank you very much. And through the Potato Corner, the king of, ang tawag mo partner, the king of kiosk.
King of kiosk.
King of kiosk.
Okay, especially now during this crisis, be a sailor, be a captain of a ship. Just make a decision now and keep on course correcting. There's no straight line. Course correct and course correct. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Robert Trota.
Everyone for joining us and listening to us, and we look forward to better times and maybe having a dinner together again one of these days and the same table. But I think we have the resiliency as a country and as a people of the Philippines. So we look forward to sharing more best practices, and truly we will get over this, and if we do it together, we can. So good afternoon to everyone.
Okay, at sa taong pinagdasal nating lahat so that he would survive COVID, of course, the father of Philippine franchising, Mr. Sammy Lim.
Yeah, I've said 25 years ago when we founded Philippine Franchising that the franchising is a good business model. When the business is good, it's even better when the business is bad. And that has been proven by history in all the economic downturns all over the world. But I'd like to add just one more thing. I think prayer works, and so do pray.
All right, from you who survived the COVID, I'm sure we'll follow that. No, at saka mas naging madasalin tayo ngayon, partner. Napansin mo ba 'yon? Even families learn to pray together.
Of course. Part of the routine is, saying a prayer every night.
All right. And then thank you really for joining me today again, partner. At syempre wala ka naman choice kasi pag gusto nila ako moderator, isa lang ang gusto kong co-moderator. Si Madam Cheryl Quintana. Yeah. And alam niyo, ang paalala ko lang sa lahat, kung tayo natatakot ngayon, I think you should go back to how we started. I think the situation when we were starting was far more, anxiety-provoking, far more dangerous, and even far more intimidating. I think the new normal is bring out the best in us, and the best innovation, the best creativity, and the best persons in us. Sana po samahan niyo ako because I'm back in DZMM. DZMM, I don't know if we will be back via the usual DZMM 630, but I'm still on Teleradio. also in abscbn.com.ph and in other platforms. So balik pa rin po doon, and many of you had been my guest before, at kagaya po ng pinapaalala natin sa lahat, kung takot yung malalaki, imagine niyo na lang kung gaano katakot yung maliliit. So kung meron man tayong dapat mission bilang isang association of the big guys and the successful businesses, huwag natin kakalimutan tulungan yung maliliit dahil mas takot sila sa atin. Thank you very much. This has been Dr. Carl Balita.
Yes, partner, we're very happy to hear that you're back and your program. So we're looking forward to that again. And, partner, sinasabi mo nga, what we have lost during the crisis time is actually control of the situation, control of knowing what's going to happen. But we have faith. We've learned how to be more resilient. And and the beauty of it all is being humble enough to learn the best practices from our leaders and other entrepreneurs like in this program. And we're very grateful with that. Again, partner, always believing that yes, the Filipino brand can. This is Cheryl Quintana, President of Philippine Franchise Association. Good afternoon, everyone.
Maraming salamat hanggang sa susunod na ikapihan, the 6th ikapihan of the Philippine Franchise Association. Mabuhay ang PFA, mabuhay ang Philippine Franchising, the Philippine Business, mabuhay ang Pilipino at mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Thank you very much po. See you again.